It's like sound advice or whatever. It's like comics, conventions, and cosplay or whatever. It's like ladies' night or whatever. It's like wrestling or whatever. It's like parenting or whatever. It's like anime or whatever. It's like spiritual warfare or whatever. It's like great friends, awesome people coming around doing what we do best or whatever. You should watch, listen, and follow or whatever. It's like a podcast or whatever.
What's up, yo? It's your man, Miles Amadeus Prowler, and this is the first of hopefully many episodes of a podcast called Fresh. This is where we coming to you with some different stuff, some blurred culture, and just a lot of things, putting you up on new stuff, anime, comic books, all that stuff, movie trailers and the like. And today I got my homie, my pal, Tony Stank, a.k.a. my man B Hyphen from the Obama approved Hyphen Nation podcast. What's good, man?
Hey, what's good, Maps? Nice to finally talk to you. We ain't talking for a few months on actual air. So
I know,
good.
man. Yeah, damn hobby called lives and shit.
Yeah, man. I'm happy to be here, of course. I finally actually grabbed the hold of one of the ideas you had.
Yeah.
So I am here and I am ready. So let's do this podcast called Fresh Thing, man.
All right, well, here's the thing, everybody. This is what we're going to do. The idea that we had, and I presented to my man, Kelen, he thought it was cool. We're going to, like, comic books and stuff as far as, like, the whole next Marvel phase. We're going to pitch our own next phase. And we're going to get comic books. We're going to talk about them, break them down. Then we're going to cast them with people who we think should play the roles and try to act like, just flesh out a little bit of the script. And then, by the end of it, we'll have our whole thing. So this time, we're starting off with one of my favorite comics, written by the great Warren Ellis, Nextwave, Agents of Hate. And I think it's a very slept on. I was trying to tell everybody and telling Kel for a minute. I was like, you need to read this shit. This shit is so good. And finally, my man got around to.
I don't know how I missed it, man. It came out like what, 2005? It came out before Civil War, right? Like that's when I was still heavy on collecting, and I completely missed this. Like nobody even in my comic shop was like, "Hey, have you heard of Nextwave?" No, they just let me go ahead and buy what I was buying at the time. It was mostly Spider-Man stuff or whatever else I was picking up. But nobody said, "Hey, maybe you should check out Nextwave. You look like you like humor and action and a bit of absurdity in your comic books. You look like that kind of guy." No, nobody did me that favor.
Well, because nobody told me about it. I found it because once I found out that the library at the time by me had books, and the library had like comic books, I was like, oh, snaps. I was on this just Warren Ellis, just anything that looked like it was cool, any comic, I was just reading them because they was trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
And I ran across that, and I'm just like, dog, how come I never heard of this? And I thought it was dope because it got my girl Monica Rambeau in it.
Yeah.
And it's just... And I was like, dog, this is ill, because before that, I never really seen nothing current with her in it. But just that whole run, man.
Like I think this is actually one of the, I was kind of reading I think you might have posted it, the history of Monica Rambeau or something. Because, of course, Captain Marvel came out with Carol Danvers. And I was reading, the history of Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel. And there was a lot of times where she just was doing absolutely nothing. And I think, right, Nextwave kind of brought her back into comics, even though Nextwave isn't too canon in the actual Marvel universe. It did bring her back to a starring role in a series. So you're 100% correct there.
They used the low-key. They tried to use her a lot. They did, what was it, Femme Fatales or something? They had a comic with it was a black cat, some fire chick, Firebird, whatever her name.
From New Orleans.
Yeah, Firestar, her, and it was her and Spectrum, and they was all living together and fighting crime like some kind of birds of prey.
Yeah.
That didn't work out. Have you read any of let me think, she was on the New Avengers team when it was her, Luke Cage, Superior Spider-Man. I forgot old girl who's like Mexican Black Panther with the with the necklace and shit.
Oh,
and she was on that team.
White Tiger?
White Tiger, yeah. And that junk was dope because they had her on there. And they had this scene I posted a long time ago, and it was this girl. This lady was telling her daughter why she needed to get her hair permed. This was so dope because it was a mad conscious section in the comic, and she was like, "Look, see, you don't want to be running around looking crazy. Look at her." She was like, "Look at me, Captain Marvel. She got her hair permed." And she was like, say something, chime in. And she was like, I don't want no part of this conversation.
Right.
But it was ill how they had her in that. And then have you read The Ultimates with Black Panther? She's in there, and like on that one, Black Panther like starts training her because he told her like low key the fact that you can turn into any energy. If you could use that and you could train you, nobody could fuck with you.
I forgot all about that. Was that Ultimates 3 when they brought that in? Because I think
so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was caught up on 1 and 2, and I know I started Ultimates 3, but then I think I faded off because, of course, that was closer to Ultimatum when they decided to blow everything up. So I don't think I saw that part, but I definitely read all the Ultimate stuff up until that part. So of course I ended up missing it.
Oh yeah, because I just found I think it might have been actually a little bit more current because I know that's when they get because it's her, Blue Marvel, Captain Marvel, Miss America, and Black Panther, and in that one they went out and they solved problems, and that shit's dope as hell. Like they solved the problem for Galactus, and they figured out that he was forever stuck in the second stage of his life. He was supposed to go to the next stage, but he never did it. So they made him evolve into the next stage. It was just dope, and like they ended it after that because they kept rebooting stuff. But we getting a long way away from what we're trying to get to.
I mean, we figured that was going to happen.
That's the plan. I just wanted to be structured chaos. But I guess basically, I wanted to start off with, since we both can tell we've been reading comics for a long time.
Yeah.
I guess for you, sir, what got you into comics, man?
Oh man, what got me into the actual comic books? Let me see. My earliest memories was, for some reason there was another comic book, but it's not coming to me right now. But of all things, Maps, let me tell you that I got some comics from the grocery store, and it was actually a Police Academy comic book.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was like, it was literally based off of the movies, and it was like after Mahoney left. So, you know, the Mahoney Police Academy movie sucked. Well, the comic book, it wasn't that great, but somehow from there, that's my first memory popped in my head. Somehow from there, I ended up picking up Spectacular Spider-Man, and on the cover of the issue it has the Hobgoblin, and this is the Jason Mason Dale Hobgoblin. Like he's above a crowd of flames. Spider-Man's in the corner. Sal Buscema's doing the artwork, and so he's doing this weird like landing thing. But he looks awesome because I love Sal Buscema's work on Spider-Man. And then Puma is on the other side of the cover. And then along the top of the
That's old school. You don't hear him no more about
Puma. Oh, I know. And then along the top, it was still running. They were running that cast of characters bar that Spectacular used to have. So you had like Robbie up there and Mary Jane and J. Jonah Jameson. And I forget what the cover was saying, but Hobgoblin was obviously threatening Spider-Man and Puma. I had no idea who Puma was. I didn't have any idea who Hobgoblin was, and the issue was just awesome. Like, I read it, and what it was Spider-Man and Mary Jane, Peter Parker, were at a party or something. It was like Robbie's birthday party or something that his wife had thrown him, and everybody was there, J. Jonah, everything, and Puma was there too, Thomas Fireheart, and him and Peter knew each other's identities from Amazing Spider-Man and stuff like that from years before.
Because Spider-Man used to get real.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And out of nowhere, the Hobgoblin shows up and he's trying to kill Robbie. And so Spider-Man and Thomas Fireheart turns into Puma, and they square off against Hobgoblin. And it's just a whole bunch of pages of action as these two heroes. And I thought Puma was a hero at the time. He might have been a hero by then. I know he came in as a bad guy.
Right.
But they were facing off, trying to take down the Hobgoblin and try to protect Robbie. And that was it. Like, that was my gateway right there to comics. And so from there, it was just always Spider-Man was what I was into. And I had in the early years, it was getting what I could get from the grocery stores, you know. And then I found out I had a comic book store 20 minutes away from me. So I would visit that every so often. And I fell out of collecting for a while, ended up coming back around 2000, moved to where I'm located now in West Virginia, Morgantown, West Virginia. Found out there's a comic book store here, and pretty much was collecting solidly from 2003 up until like 2011. Okay. And then I've just been kind of off and on with life change and everything, but I've never faded away again from not being an avid comic reader. I don't make as much time for it, but like it doesn't matter, man. Like you slid me Nextwave, and I finally took the initiative to actually use my thumb and read it. And I was like, yo, like, God, I love comic books, and Nextwave is an amazing comic book in itself. So the saga continues.
It's like if you get a good comic, man, it's like a good comic will blow your mind, man. It's like when you were like, if you get something like Nextwave and stuff like that, you'll read shit that'll make you laugh out loud or chuckle literally, like, ha, that shit is crazy. And it's like that's the stuff, like for me, like you were saying with Spider-Man. That's how I got into Spider-Man. I used to love Spider-Man. I used to just love how, especially when McFarlane used to draw him, and it's just how he would always look like he was legitimately struggling all the time. And I used to, like, he was the first superhero I would see, like, hey, what's going on? I just beat the Punisher. Yeah, now I got to go take these pictures so I can pay bills. Yeah. And I'd be like, dog, this shit is real. This dude had to pay rent. Like, and it taught, like, in my life, like, dog, that's, like, you know, absolute power, you know, responsibility and all that stuff. And I'm like, wow. And that had got me to it. In the X-Men, I just remember just a lot. Like I was telling you the other day, I didn't even know when I was little. I couldn't really even read. I didn't know they were all stories that went together. I would just look at the artwork. And I still remember, like, the first X-Men comic I had is when the one when Psylocke, the original Betsy, came back and she got her powers back. We got her original body and stuff. And then Psylocke was hitting on Cyclops. And Jean came in and was like, are you manipulating? I was like, dog, this check is real. I didn't know heroes did this shit. And it's just, for me, it was ill because I would be pissed. I go to school, you know, living my life as a kid, having no powers and shit, not knowing how great I had it. And then I would just read comic books and shit, and it would just blow my mind. Like, oh, okay, well, I see this, and this is how it is. And like I was telling you, me and my boy used to sit back and be like, oh, man, I can't wait till these movies come out. Who you think gonna do this? And blah, blah, blah. And this is like way before even like the fucking Blade came out. Which is, most of y'all don't know, the first Black Marvel movie and the first, technically, Marvel movie officially, as far as the first waves and all that shit. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's just like with Nextwave, and it's like a lot of good stories and like shit. Like, have you ever heard of like the Luna Brothers?
The Luna Brothers? Yeah,
Luna.
I don't think I have. No.
Oh man, yeah, I got some stuff to put you up on. Like even with like even with just Marvel. I know you heard this the TV show called The Runaways, right?
Oh yeah. I need to watch it, man. I keep saying I watch it. I've read the one Runaways. I've read a lot of the. I think I read like some issues or something. Oh yeah,
that shit was so good. I'm mad they didn't do more with that. But anyway, so we're gonna get into this shit about Nextwave.
Yeah.
1 second, right after this break. You ever thought about starting your own podcast? You know, like what I got? Well, let me tell you, when I was starting out, I had a lot of questions. Didn't know how to answer them, didn't know where to start. How do I start a podcast? How do I get off the ground? How do I record my episodes? How do I get them on the major platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and other places? Well, the answer to all of those is one thing: Anchor FM. Anchor FM is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free. Free 99. You cannot beat that. And what's better, it's ridiculously easy. And now Anchor can match you great sponsors too, so you can get paid for your product, like moi. Let me tell you, when I started out, I'm not even going to say the names of the places that I was trying to have my podcast hosted at, and it was nice, and I thought I was happy for a while. But when I found out about Anchor, 100% free, limited space, the only way you can beat that is if they pay you. And I guess if you do ads, they kind of do. If you always wanted to start a podcast and making money doing it, go to Anchor FM/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's Anchor.fm/start. Can't wait to hear your product. And we're back. All right. So anyway, man, Nextwave. Basically, it's like, as my man Kale said it on Instagram, the clumsy X-Men. And It's a team.
I was talking about them dying all the time, but yeah, that works too.
It's just like they're a fully dysfunctional team, and it's so dope. And I think it would be dope for a movie because it can bridge. It could be like since Deadpool, we already know what's coming in. We can have a bridge between like the shit and the Deadpool, and then with Monica, you can put her into the next stuff because if y'all don't know, she ends up being Captain Marvel, and I think her mother was in the Captain Marvel movie they just had.
Yes.
So it's like you got her, and then we got the captain, which we don't really know what his real name is. It's just Captain so-and-so. I think it's Captain Shit. I'm not sure. Captain Fuck. I don't know.
The Captain, yo. Oh, man. I just read one of the issues today, and I can't wait to bring it up. But he might. And the funny thing is, there's like blurbs in the beginning of every episode of every issue where they kind of recap everything, at least in my copy that I'm reading. And they're always calling him the hero of the series. They call him the Captain, the hero.
Oh, so man, the Captain is the man. Like, the part, and we're going to be skipping around, y'all. And of course, I'm sure if you didn't know this, we're spoiling the fuck out of everything.
Yes,
but,
of course.
I like the part with the cop. And, after they saved him and shit, Boom Boom ran up and they was like, oh, what's wrong? Oh, he's a cop? She just started beating the shit out of him. And then my man, Robot Man, came up and was like, hey, what's going on? He's a cop, the worst fleshy ones of all. They just started.
Yes, I love that. I loved it because it's like they finally get they beat the monster and everything, and then they realize the dude's a cop, and they're like, oh, well, fuck that. Why do they even waste their time? And then they just start doing their own little street justice on him. It's incredible.
Start beating the shit out of him, and it's like, dog, I love every character in that mug. It's like it could low key be, and for all intents and purposes, if it would have sold, it could have been like the new type Guardians type misfit crew type thing, because it's like, and even with the movie, how I would do it if we did it, one of them gotta die at least. And but even if you don't do that, Boom Boom, you straight can connect her to the X-Men,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that 100%. Because she said her name was Tabitha at first, and I was like, yeah, yo, Tabitha Smith, right? I was like, yo, that sounds like Boom Boom, and then she finally said she's Boom. I was like, oh shit, it is Boom Boom.
It's just if you think about it, just that one person with her, you could set up X-Force.
Mm-hmm.
You could set up X-Men. And it's like, dog, she would be like, if we wanted like a millennial superhero, that's Boom Boom.
Oh.
They had the part where she couldn't even spell her first name right. She was like, I spelled my name. No, you didn't. You spelled it wrong. Yes, I did. Taby.
And then she goes,
okay.
See? No, she didn't even think it was wrong. She's like, see? I spelled it right. You're wrong.
When she says she hates cops, I hate them because they're always beating me up and stopping me for stealing things, you know?
Like shoplifting's illegal or something. Yeah.
Like shoplifting. Like, yeah, why you gotta be bothering me like that? Then let me think. We said Monica, we said the Captain, we said Boom Boom, we got Robot Man.
Yeah, Machine Man. I think
was Machine Man, my bad. Machine Man. He would be so ill. Because it's like, he is so just dry. It's just so funny. He's just like, yeah, death to all fleshy people.
I know.
Right here. Except these guys.
He's like, I need beer. And they're like, you're a robot. He's like, I need beer just because.
Yeah. He's like the Marvel Bender without just almost.
Yes. Yeah, we just get John DiMaggio to do his voice. That'd probably be hilarious.
God, I think that would be all kinds of hilarious. But he would have to do it with a straight, serious voice. Like, dog, he's like the best person. And then like with him, man, you could just have him after you get done with the whole Nextwave series. Because you could do like maybe squeeze with this part. This is this series arc we read. You could maybe get at the most 3 movies out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Easily.
And then with that, you could just have him just be in other stuff, just like in the background or just popping up saying stuff.
Right. And I think the original Guardians of the Galaxy, now that I've read Nextwave, and I didn't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy before, and I know that the original Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't the characters we saw on the screen. I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn took some of his cues from Nextwave, because the goofiness and the randomness that happens in Guardians and of course the comedy, I really think that might be Nextwave influence, man.
It's gotta just the heroes with lack of morality.
Yes,
that like the scene when did you read the part when they was fighting the rock monsters from hell, and my man the Captain found that dude. He beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's the part I just read that today. That he got to Rakano, whatever his name was, because I thought he was Dormammu at first, because I knew the mindless one's from him. But apparently he's a friend of his. And he had one of the funniest lines in the whole book because he's like, the hate agent comes to him, is like, oh, we want to buy the mindless ones. He's like, I never would do it. And then he's like, unless you know Suicide Girls or whatever. And then he's like, I got $100. He's like, I have 100 American Earth dollars.
Oh man, it's just all, if like you could get the time, like again, James Gunn, I would hate to say he would have to do it. Side note, nigga came back to Guardians. I knew they was gonna do it because you can't do Guardians at all without James Gunn. I don't know. Then he's doing that and Suicide Squad. So
I know, man. That's crazy. He's going to do Suicide Squad 2, and then he's going to come back and get back on Guardians 3. So I'm really happy that that's kind of have a happy ending for us, you know, because the idea of not getting to see what happens next with Guardians was really a bummer when I got to thinking about it.
It wasn't really even it's not very often that you see any like a project done by someone who you can tell this nigga likes this shit.
Right.
The goal is that like he's not I'm getting paid to do a movie. The payoff for him is I'm getting paid to direct something I love. You know, and just that whole first, even though the second Guardians wasn't the best shit, and I think he probably could have did different if he didn't have to set up for Infinity War. But
right.
And the only reason why it wasn't good compared to the first one.
I actually really enjoy Guardians too. I thought, yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it by no means. It's definitely a step down, like you said. But you can definitely see where he had to go along a certain path to keep the overall arc of ultimately Infinity War going throughout the film. But he's like you said, the only person who needs to be directing these films.
Because it's like just like even that's the thing with Nextwave, and that's the thing like I think that's awesome about X-Men. It's different kinds of families, and it's like with Nextwave, it's like the family you got. I can't stand your ass, but I still fucks with you. You know what I'm saying? All of them, like they say whatever, but all of them is like, I got your back. And then it's even more funnier when they go into their backstories. And then it's like my man was like, they had to fight the koalas, and he was like, dog, why are you tripping? I hate bears. Why? I don't want to talk about it. Then they go into his past, and he was like, Mom, what happened? So Special Bear. Special Bear's gone. Isn't coming back.
That was awful, man. That was awful.
Or even with old girl, what's her name? Emma Bloodstone. He was like, yeah, if I captured this monster 5,000 years ago and kept it in this pit, so if you're my child, you should be able to kill it. Sent his newborn baby out there with a spoon.
I know.
Go kill it.
And she handled it, though, is the crazy part.
She handled it. But it was just dope how all of it was just messed up.
Yeah.
Side note, I think if I had to pitch, I would say Dean Ambrose for the captain, because it wouldn't be that much acting. And he's not going to be doing shit anytime soon anyway.
I do like your pick. My pick for the captain, I don't know what he's doing, but did you ever see the movie Shoot 'Em Up?
I don't think I have. No,
okay.
My bad. I have not.
No, it's all good. Clive Owen. I think he was in Sin City too. I think he would be a good captain shit because he ended up playing the main character in like one of the stories in Sin City, but in Shoot 'Em Up, he was literally, it was over the top.
Yeah, I can see him. You got me. Yeah, I can tell.
Right, that's who he was playing in Sin City.
Yeah, I can see that. I think
he would be great. I haven't seen him in anything lately, but if he's still around and wants the money thrown at him, I will definitely let him play captain shit.
If I had to pick somebody for Bloodstone in the perfect world, Uma Thurman.
See, I like that. You switched it on me.
And she's tall enough.
You switched it on me because earlier you said somebody else. I was thinking, and then you said it. I was like, that's not computing.
Yeah, I just thought about it earlier, and I was thinking of like the body type, and I was like, somebody who could play a badass and still be pretty. I'm like, dog, she could so pull that off.
You know who I would like, even though I feel like she's really short, but it could still work? Ela Fisher.
I can see that.
Because I just watched Wedding Crashers again last week, and she's just all over the place in that performance. Seeing her play a badass like Elsa, I think it would be so fucking cool, man.
That would be cool, because like that right there with her role and her whole thing, man, it's just, if they wanted to, the potential for spinoffs on damn near at least 3 of them is guaranteed. Now, you really ain't going to do nothing too much with the captain. That's cool. But you at least got something, especially with Boom Boom. Dog, you could just have her be like the female Deadpool and just be wandering into other people's shit, doing stuff, and just being out.
Oh, 100%.
And then my main thing, my whole thing is like, dog, my man who's the head of Hate, which is, y'all don't know if you haven't read it, which I think is really dope. It's like a hacky, poor man's shield.
A bad shield at that.
It's a horrible shield, which is another thing.
What's my man's name? Because he has a hilarious name.
I gotta see. Let me look. I'm gonna pull up.
I got it right here in front of me. Dirk Anger.
Dirk Anger.
That's his name.
Dirk Anger. Like his whole thing, he reminds me of like what's my man's name? Like the what was the teacher from Daria?
Oh yes, yeah. I know who you mean. Yes, the name's not gonna come to me.
He's like a second away from snapping all the time.
Yes. Looks like a vein is gonna blow. Yo, I mean, the episode, that issue I read earlier today, he literally was about to hang himself.
Yeah, he was.
And then he accidentally did it anyway. And then like, there's two people outside his door. They're like, "What's going on in there?" And they're like, "Oh, that's what happens when he gets on those illegal websites."
It's so dope. Like the comic, like if y'all need to read this shit. Like this comic is so self-aware, and it's like it's so well written, and y'all gonna hear that a lot from me and throughout this and just the rest of these episodes. I'm all about well written stuff. Like when later on another episode we get into Luna Brothers, I'm gonna say it's not like with that. It's not the best art I've ever seen, by no means is it. But the writing, and great writing counts for everything. Side note: check out Scott Pilgrim. Not the best art I've ever seen in my life. Best of writing, most definitely. And good writing makes everything else better. Well, I feel, in my opinion.
No, I agree too, and I co-sign that Scott Pilgrim take. That Scott Pilgrim's awesome, and the movie's awesome. You gotta watch. If you haven't read it, you gotta read it.
You gotta read it, and then you'll appreciate the movie more. And it's like from Scott Pilgrim. That's one thing from Scott Pilgrim and Nextwave got in the comment. Their art style, like they had a coloring book episode. They had a coloring book issue.
I know, issue 5.
Yeah, and it's just that shit is creative. And they just so much stuff they do like that, and it's like it's just with the whole Hate thing. It's just so stupid. They got like how like Shield has like life model decoys. Hate has like broccoli people they grow, which is like stupid animals, stupid people, but they can only say a couple of words.
Right.
And it's like they had Fing Fang Foom. And
yeah, because Monica was freaking out. She's like, "Are you killing people?" And they're like, "They're not really alive." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "They're as alive as a vegetable." And she's like, "All right, kill them all."
And I love and it would be just so dope. Another thing that I think would be dope about it, if they do it, the flashbacks of Monica lying, which is about the Avengers. And then with that, you could put her in the movies, just in those short scenes. And she could be like, yeah, because someone said this and that happened and blah, blah, blah. And then you'll see her in Civil War, like hiding behind something, like, get the girl the hell out of here, or some shit like that. Because she was like, Captain America was like, come to me and hide behind my leg and stuff like that.
How about Cap asking her make him a sandwich, man? That was a high point.
He said, get back and make me a sandwich.
That's the meanest thing Captain America's ever done in his life. He was like, we got it from here, Monica. Get back to Avengers Mansion and make me a sandwich.
Make me a sandwich.
And then I think the next caption was Monica Rambeau lies a lot.
Back when I was in Avengers and so-and-so when I was in Avengers, and that junk could be dope. And at the end of the last movie, you could have Captain Marvel pop up and be like, man, what the hell? Because like I see it for me, at the end of all this, since we with the movie, just have S.H.I.E.L.D. shutting it down. Have S.H.I.E.L.D. shutting it down, probably taking some of them away. And at the end, at the post-credit scene, they can have her being interviewed, slide a notebook across, look up, it'd be Captain Marvel, bam. And those who would know what was up.
I like it.
Side note, I think they should get old girl, maybe, and it's just me. I'm not saying this is so. Old girl Starfire could probably play Monica. Because she's nice. I just didn't like her too much as Starfire. Unless you can think of somebody better.
Yeah. Play Monica. I like the actress that played Monica. Obviously Monica was a kid. I like the actress that played Maria in Captain Marvel. I don't know if I would keep her though. If I had to pick somebody off the top of the dome to play somebody like this, you know who would be really good, even though I feel like she might be slightly too old, even though black don't crack? Taraji.
The only reason why I would say no is because the most of the people, and I know why you're saying it. You're saying that off talent, not just because she's the it girl right now, which I truly co-sign. But everybody else, I would want her to be like, only reason why, because she would have that straight sass. And they'd be like, she could pull that junk off. And like, you can get her to play a younger chick. Shoot, old girl who plays Suri, she ain't that young. All you gotta do is give them a ponytail and braids.
I mean, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
But then you do that, then they're gonna have Terrence Howard in there somewhere.
Oh God! Like, it's hard out here for a pimp, and have Captain Shit punch him or something, or he get beat up by DJ. That's what happens, yo. Hustle and Flow 2 have DJ giving Captain Shit his demo tape this time, and then Captain Shit flush it, and then he beat the shit out of Captain Shit. You could just do the whole ending of Hustle and Flow over again with Captain Shit. That would be hilarious.
That would just be, oh man, and that would be like the thing if they did this movie. It would have to be in the sense that you could not take it seriously.
No, like
anytime when you got broccoli robots, you cannot. And it's like with that, they would have to steer full on into the hilarity of it. You can't, like, with the whole Fiend Fan Foom. He has pants, but he has no genitals. I'd be pissed off if I was him.
I'm gonna put you in my pants.
Yeah, just that, and just all that stuff. It would be keep it like real life, but then, like I said, just steer into the crazy shit, and it's like I said, with the Fiend Fan Foom or with the monsters. Then it's like, oh, who was that? I forgot the flashback. I meant to say that shit earlier, but Boom Boom. Well, my man's Cable was like, behind me now. Because he's
that Cable, that was hilarious too, because it was like Cable, and then when there was a scene with the X-Men, or Charles Xavier or something too. But yeah, Cable definitely was like, get out of the way, let me fight this battle and stuff. I think how he said it way more funnier.
Yeah, but what was I about to say? You know what? I'll say it to y'all after this break. Getting kind of good at that. 1 second.
That concludes part 1 of the first episode of a podcast called Fresh. We hope you had a nice listen. Please stay tuned for more.
What's up, everybody? What up, though, from my Detroit people? My name is Kelen Conley, host of the world's greatest podcast, Hyphen Nation. And also, I am the founder of the Hyphen Podcast Group. Now, you may know some of our great shows like mine, Hyphen Nation, or I Black Man Podcast, or Catch the Show, or It's Like a Podcast, or whatever, or Browns in Our Blood if you're a Browns fan, or just an NFL fan in general, or Lemon on the Edge, or even Victory Jump Off Radio. But I'm here with a special announcement. Hyphen Podcast Group now has a Patreon page. Now, I didn't want to do this because, honestly, we're working on getting our numbers up. But what happens around the middle of the month is our web hosting, which is graciously provided to us by Eric Jordan of Browns in Our Blood. We forget to pay it because we have other bills, and then the site goes down. What happens is normally Catch the Show comes out on Saturday, and by the middle of the month on a Saturday, well, the site's down. And then I got a show I got to promote, and I can't do that. I mean, I can on Instagram, but I don't feel right not having everything on the site because the links on Instagram say link in the bio. So what's the point of going to link in the bio if you can't bring up the site? So start a Patreon page. Not asking for much, just looking to get roughly about $15 a month right now. That would be enough for us to pay for the hosting each month. It's located at patreon.com/hyphen podcast group. Check us out. There's tiers and rewards. You can even be on a show if you're crazy enough to pay us a bunch of money. But even if you just throw $1 in, which is the minimum tier, that means that you get your name mentioned on a pod at any given time. There's going to be a list of Patreons, and we will say your name, if you want us to, on a pod, and that's kind of cool. So if you want to support us and keep the site running on a timely basis, which is what we're trying to do, please check out the Patreon, man. And again, that is patreon.com/hyphen podcast group. And continue to check out our shows. Let your friends know about our shows. We're on all podcast listening platforms. And yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks, y'all.